Hi everybody, it's me, Sailor Moon, Serena here, and today I'm going to talk about, Donald Trump being president of the United States and some of the, well, bad things that happen. Now, granted that every inauguration day there's always going to be people who are going to people protesting stuff. Yeah, that's without going said. It's not without being said. It's normal for people to protest stuff. What's usually not normal is when people start riots. Now, people are thinking that the riots start in Washington, District of Columbia. No. They start in New York City. Technically, they start in New York State, in New York City area. Apparently, there were some people who just used the excuse that he was in office to start rioting. And a lot of people were arrested. This was divided between the New York State Police, the New York County Police, and New York City local police. So, for some reason, I guess there were some people who got in it that Lucifer tempted them into believing that it was okay to commit crimes of vandalism and arson and other stuff because there was a new president and allegedly he fought the same way they fought. I don't know. Whatever excuse is, that's the first thing, and people are going to try to blame it on him. They're going to try to blame it on Donald Trump like he had something to do with it. Like he said, okay, everybody, once I get sworn in as president of the United States and I become head of state and head of government, start doing riots, especially in my home state, because I need to get myself over as a troublemaker. I don't think so. Now, yes, it is true that he's been known to open his mouth and say a lot of controversial stuff, and I'm sure he has opinions on a lot of things. But I don't think he would collaborate with a bunch of criminals to start, problems. Now, I know there's a lot of people who personally don't like him for various different reasons. People who are disappointed that he won in the first place. Others who were offended or disappointed or criticize him for what he says or what he does. People who think he doesn't have the experience there is to be in politics, but that's a different story for a different day. So, these riots start with vandalism and arson on both public and private property. And I don't know the number of arrests, but I can assure you that there were a lot of them. And both the New York State Police, the New York County Police, and the New York local police were all involved in probably arresting people. So, yeah, what did this really do? It didn't really do nothing. I mean, it didn't prove how tough we are or something. It didn't prove anything, these people. It just, a lot of people getting arrested, having their ransom rights given to them. Didn't put in jail, waiting for their arraignment, and also the parental hearing, maybe in their trial, depending to the seriousness of the crimes. But if we're talking about arson and vandalism, then chances are those are both state felonies, federal felonies too, if it happens. So those people will just ruin their lives over a presidential inauguration. And a lot of people are going to use this excuse to blame it on other people, to say that, well, this just proves that this person's wrong for the job. All it proves is there's a bunch of idiots out there that Lucifer tempted them into committing crimes, and they went through it, unfortunately, for whatever dumb reason. And if they're going to use him as the excuse, then that's even more sad than it is. Okay? And most of the time, I don't really say my political views that much on this channel. I mean, not really. I might talk about it here and there, but most of the time I really don't. And that's probably the reason I usually don't, talk about that. But I think that, in my opinion, though, people are going to agree or disagree with me, that I think, yeah, he, I mean, this is only day 2, if you want to call it that. And I think that, yes, he might be able to do a semi-good job. There's no such thing as a perfect job. And if we think of it, people, all the presidents that we have had over the years, they have done a good job, a nice job, a semi-okay job, but there's no such thing as a perfect job. You know, you know, and I don't care what president you talk about, you can't put the word perfect because human beings aren't perfect. So I'm sure he'll keep a lot of I'm sure a lot of the things he said he'll do. The other things he won't, and just because, here's the thing, people, just because the president says, I'm going to do this and do that, the president has to work with Congress, the president has to work with the Supreme Court, and all 3 branches have to agree or disagree on things. Checks and balances. Okay? So, we'll have to see how that goes. And all the riots just did was embarrass and make other people look bad. Especially him, because, well, people already have, or he has a reputation of not thinking before he says, and a reputation of doing things and saying things that are questionable. But if you people think that the riots is something he started, I don't really think so. It's just something that's going to be the first challenge. And I know there's going to be people out there saying if Hillary Clinton won, this wouldn't have happened. Actually, I don't know. I can't tell you. But I just think it's sad that you have an inauguration day holiday celebrating the swearing in of the new president, regardless of people who like him or not. And then these idiots got to start riots. Up Sailor Moon, Serena, and I hope you enjoyed this video.